guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. If this is your first time, if you wouldn't mind subscribing if you like what you see, and also commenting down below and liking this video if you like it or not. This is 4 for 4. What I do is I wear each palette for 4 days and I test them out, and this is my review, and then I will have a ranking of them at the end of the video as well. Today is a version of 4 for 4. There is 5 palettes I'm going to talk about though, because I couldn't not talk about my 5th chocolate bar palette when I was already talking about 4 of them. So I am going to talk about all 5 of the chocolate bar palettes. Some of them are easier to get than others. Some of them are still in stores. Some of them, they come and go on the Too Faced website, so don't give up on any of them. They do end up popping up I've gotten them all from their website, so you know, they do occasionally pop up. First up, I have the Chocolate Gold palette by Too Faced. Well, they're all Too Faced, we know that. We have the original chocolate bar palette, the SemiSweet chocolate bar, they're cumbersome. The chocolate bonbons, which is so cute, and the white chocolate bar. We're going to start with the white chocolate bar. We're going to go like the lightest packaging up to the darkest packaging. So the chocolate white bar, the white one, it is a very light palette. It does have like this candy striping inside, which is super cute. And this is the color Story. It does smell like chocolate. These all smell super delicious. Now, all of these palettes I did wear for 4 days. I experimented with different looks. I tried to use as many different shadows as possible. I didn't obviously use every single shadow in every palette, but I did get a good idea of them. I'm going to swatch this really fast for you, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what they all look like, starting with the green. I should have swatched a little bit more so that it wasn't quite on my elbow, but that's what it is. Let's see if I can get both of them on screen without dropping everything. There we go. So as you can see, some of the shadows work a little bit better than others, and some of them definitely have more pigment. The green looked really pretty on the eyes. I really liked this one. I liked this peachy one. This pinky one was a little light, but I got it to work. And then a couple of the brown shades I liked. I didn't really use the black shade, but while there are some pretty shimmers, they're not as good of quality as other chocolate bar palettes and other Too Faced products themselves. So this is one that I can see why it didn't have the best hype. I wanted it because I wanted to finish my collection of the chocolate bars, and I love that green, and that green did not disappoint. That is a standout in the palette. All right, next we're going to talk about the Chocolate Bonbons palette. This one is one that I wore the heck out of. When I went to Vegas, I brought this. I think this was the only palette I actually brought because I liked that it had pops of colors so I could do some fun things. This particular trip, I went to see the Backstreet Boys residency at Planet Hollywood, and I got to see like their second show in Vegas, which was amazing. And so I was really excited. I took this because there's those bright pops, but I also had some neutrals so that I could do a lot of different things. I haven't used it as much in recent times, so it was kind of like a revisit to see what it feels like now. All right, and that's what they all look like swatched. Did it a little bit better, I think, this time. So I do like this palette. I don't like it as much as I did back in the day. There's been a lot more palettes that I've tried, and I also feel like I like a little bit more warm tones now, and a lot of these browns are cool tone. So if you like cool tones, I think this would be a good palette because there are a lot of the cool tone browns in there, but there are some fun pops. The pinks are a little bit more patchy than I remember them being, more fallout than I've kind of gotten used to, but I still think they're pretty good. This one I've also had for several years, so the quality is holding up, but a newer palette probably is going to be a little bit fresher and better in quality as well. So that's what the Too Faced Bonbons looks like. All right, next up is the SemiSweet chocolate bar, and it's kind of a tannish color. This is what it looks like. You do have some a real mix of shades in here. It's not quite as dark as the chocolate bar, as you'll see in a minute, but there are like some warm tones and some cool tone browns in there, and then less pops of color. Like the blue really is the only pop of color. Everything else is pretty neutral. Even this pink is pretty, you know, it's not really a pop of color, that's for sure. So that's what they look like all swatched. Some like that pink you're gonna see, like it doesn't really show up at all. It's really kind of one of those toppers, but not even a really great topper. But almost all of the other shimmers are really beautiful, and there's not a whole bunch of shimmers in here. If you really look at it, like frosting has a bit of a shimmer. Yeah, there's not a ton of shimmers in here. I think this is probably a better everyday work palette for people because it does have a lot of neutrals in here, and there's a wide variety of warm and cool tones, so you can do a variety of looks. This is the one that I ended up liking the looks the most out of all of the palettes as I was working with them. All right, let's talk about the chocolate bar palette. This is what it looks like. This is the original. It spawned all of the others down the line. These all do have 16 pans in them. I think the chocolate bar, the chocolate gold does as well. But yeah, you do get quite a few pans in them. Let's swatch it and see what it looks like. All right, so that's what they all look like swatched, and kind of show them next to this. Now, the thing that I really realized with this one is that the formulas were still in progress with this. I don't feel like they're as good as some of the other Too Faced that have come since it. And there's like these two on the top that are just like the mattes with the glitter. They're not good. They feel rough. They don't feel good to dip your fingers into. They don't really go on very well. This purple, I mean, the purple is pretty pathetic. As you can see, like there's just not much there. And purples, I know a lot of companies struggle with those, but I feel like we've progressed past this level of purple and there's more. But like this bottom row, oh my gosh, those last 5 shades are gorgeous and they're so well done. I really love like that shimmer. Really pretty, but there's not consistency throughout the palette. Like there's like half of it's good and half of it's just meh. Last palette is the chocolate gold palette. This is the only one that is not tin. It is plastic. It reminds me of the Revolution packages that they've done. So that's what it looks like. You do get a lot more color in here. You have a lot more shimmers. There's only 4 mattes in here, so this is mostly a shimmer palette. It's 3/4 shimmers. You have that like crazy silver, you have the pink and purple, you have the green and the gold. So there's just a lot of pops of color in this palette. All right, so here is what they all look like swatched. Yeah, it's just a lot of shimmer. There's so much shimmer. The problem that I had with this palette is that with those pops of colors, I didn't always feel like these 4 were the best matte shades to go with them. Like if I wanted to do these and then put a pop of pink or purple, it felt weird with the browns. Like I needed a couple more. And I wish that there was just a few more mattes, which sounds crazy because I love shimmers, but I just felt like it was hard to find looks to use all of these because not all of the shimmers really, I feel, go together, or at least that I could put together myself. So that would be my criticism of it. They're gorgeous. Like they did such a good job. They're creamy. The mattes are amazing. These shimmers, like they go on like a dream. So beautiful. It's just the colors and the ratio is a little off to me. So before I go into my ranking, just know I'm not going to declutter any of these. I like them all, and it took me a while to get them all because I wanted the collection. So I'm not going to declutter any of them, but I am going to rank them and kind of tell you the reason why I put them there. So in 5th place is going to be the white chocolate bar. That's because it's beautiful and I like it, but I don't feel like, well, one, it's not going to work for a lot of skin tones because it's so pale, and they're not pigmented. Like if they were watercolor kind of shades that had an impact, even if they were pale colors, they would be a little bit better. But this one is in 5th place because of that, but it does have some beautiful shades, and I can see it working. Like if I use this with another palette, I can see getting a lot of looks. In fourth place is the Too Faced Bonbons, or the chocolate bonbons. I'm surprised. I thought that I was going to rank this like 1 or 2 because I loved this palette so much. And it's just because I don't really reach for cool tones and I don't really like cool tone looks on me. So I don't like it as much as I used to. I still think it's beautiful. Like I look at it and it makes me happy, and it brings back memories too. But yeah, in terms of tones, it wasn't my favorite. Now, if you like cool tones, you probably would rank that one higher. In third place, or right in the middle, is the original chocolate bar. And that's because, like I said, that first row is just not a lot of great shades. The bottom row has some great shades, but there's just such a mix of shades that were good and that were not so good that I couldn't rank it higher. In fourth place, I'm putting the chocolate gold. This is the other surprise because I thought this might be number 1 till I started working with it and trying to make looks, and I was like, I'm struggling to make coherent looks or looks that don't look crazy. So I'm putting this one in 5th, and that's just because I don't see all of the pops of color really working with them. Like if you have ideas, please let me know. But yeah, I don't wear it quite as much, and yeah, that's why it's in 2nd. Which means that in first place is the SemiSweet palette, which was a complete and utter surprise because I look at this and I'm like, it doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't scream like or make me excited to look at, but I liked every single look that I did, and there was just a lovely mix of textures and tones, and it just worked really well. So this is my favorite of all of the chocolate bar palettes. I know, I was surprised too. Let me know if you've tried any of these, what your thoughts are on them, where you would rank them. I would love to know that. I hope you are all having a fantastic day. Please let me know a little bit about how your day is going down below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.